Many have tried to challenge the Tesla Model Y. Now it's striking back even stronger with this update here, the new Model Y, or also called Model Y Juniper. And we'll tell you all about it here with Thomas Nautical Fuel in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go. Oh, and later we'll also talk about Elon Musk. But first we'll focus on the product, because here the updated Model Y, not only the most sold EV, but also the most sold car overall in the past 2 years. Very impressive indeed. Now becomes this new face here with the light strip, goes all the way through from right to left or left to right. Matrix LED, the main headlamp is underneath that, and also an updated front bumper for better aerodynamics. It's being said that it's actually 5% more efficient and also 20% better as for the noise reduction. So more insulated, better in aerodynamics, and overall this also increases the WLTP figure, so this official driving cycle, by about 35 kilometers or 20 miles. So we can expect more range, a little bit more range, due to this new efficiency measures and so on. They said they even took a look at all the individual electric consumers to make them more efficient. So the official figure says now 1.3 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers less of consumption. Interesting. Of course, we will drive it at some point for you as well. Another interesting change is the front camera. We can see it right here below. So then you can also look forward while parking in and so on. 360-degree view is possible, and it can be cleaned and heated, so it's also, so to speak, weatherproof. Quicksilver is this very vehicle color, one of the newer colors, which was already available in the pre-facelift. Looks pretty cool here to the car, yeah, and I think I really like the front lights signature here. That looks really striking indeed. The length remains at 4.79 meters or 189 inches. New 19-inch aerodynamic wheels, so they are more optimized here for better efficiency. You can also go for 20-inch wheels if you like. There will be an entry rear-wheel drive model again, and this is then here the all-wheel drive model. And there the acceleration with the optional acceleration boost that is also available. Here, as it stands here right now, is at 4.3 seconds. The kilometers an hour figure, or 4.1 seconds if you think about the miles per hour figure. And blacked out windows here. Overall, a very clean and sleek look. Yeah, and you already see from the outside that it's very aerodynamic. As for the battery sizes, nothing has changed there, Tesla says. So it will still be the entry battery, about like 62 something kilowatt hours, and the bigger battery, almost 80 kilowatt hours. So all the range gains, they are all because of this new efficiency and not because they have changed something of the battery capacity. The very concise battery capacity, that's something I also criticize, because you never get like official information from that, and people actually know that from looking in their own papers from the cars and discussing that in forums and so on. So this is not that transparent as for the battery size then. New tail lamps here, you can see they are projected, and that gives this very cool effect here that you see the Tesla lettering here. Yeah, this looks really nice, right? This light projection. You've maybe already seen that this one here is a US spec vehicle. You can also see here you have the red additional indicator here at the right side. Although this very early car was built here close by where I'm here at in the Berlin area, so at the Berlin-Brandenburg Tesla Gigafactory. And for all the European customers, the Model Y will then also come from this near to Berlin. It's not like really in Berlin, but like an hour outside of Berlin. That's where the European customers will get this car from. And yeah, we'll also talk about Elon Musk later, as I said, because you can do what you want. Buying cars have become somewhat political, also where the car is built and so on, but we'll talk about that later, as I said. The glass, by the way, which is also very important for the top roof there, is also better as for the heat reflection now. They also say this has increased efficiency, because then you don't have to spend so much energy on the AC to cool the inside down and so on. And yeah, there will also be more news to come in the interior. And we quickly check the turning indicators here in the front, or the hazard lights. They're kind of integrated in this new light signature here, but I think also visible enough. And in the rear, yeah, Tesla has been known for sometimes making small indicators. These are also wide and visible enough here in that area then. And this is, by the way, here the brake light. You can see it here, and also the third one on the top. So this is basically like the showroom or the daytime running light here. And this is then here the real brake light you can see right here. Next to the updated wheels, by the way, also a new suspension setup. So the riding comfort, which was also one of the main criticism points, that it was riding kind of stiff, also supposed to be upgraded. So we'll also tell you more about that as soon as we can drive this vehicle, if this one has really improved. Important is, of course, always rather pick the smaller wheels, like here the 19-inch wheels, and I would advise against the 20-inch wheels, because this will also make the riding stiffer. Looks always cooler, but with the smaller wheels, better for the efficiency and also better riding comfort. And of course, we have to talk about the frunk. If you have your smartphone app connected, you can also open it with a smartphone, for example. In this case, I have a magic helper on the inside of the vehicle. There we go, with the frunk, which is really large, very well usable for whatever, not only for a charging cable, which in most cases you don't need, because the box at home has the charging cable and the supercharger has also the charging cable. So this is then rather a luggage frunk indeed. If you hear some mechanics noises in the background, by the way, the reason is we are basically in a Tesla workshop here close to Berlin. So next door, people are actually working on some other cars. Yeah, and there you can see also the other models of the portfolio. We also have, of course, all the other models in our review here at Autogefühl. Another change here, by the way, we've maybe seen it on the slide one, even another aerodynamic optimization here at the side mirrors. Very interesting. And yeah, that also directs the air even wider through. Top speed, by the way, still is at 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles an hour. And yeah, even for the German Autobahn, that's more than enough. Towing capacity, 1.6 tons. And yeah, also the rear has been aerodynamically optimized. Interesting is, of course, also the interior. We have the frameless windows, and you can see also on the top here is dual lamination. So this will really help also at staying silent on the Autobahn. Let's check it out in the rear. Yeah, there's also a dual lamination here in the rear, so that's pretty cool, premium feature. Yeah, as I said, noise supposed to be reduced by 20%. This will especially help you for longer Autobahn journeys. Closing sounds are actually extremely good for frameless doors, because when you have frameless doors, usually that doesn't sound that well. Here, very well done. Opening, closing the vehicle, usually you just have your smartphone in your pocket. And there, Tesla claims that the connectivity of the smartphone has been increased like with a 10x factor. That's more reliable and quicker, you know, how you communicate smartphone, car to the cloud, and so on and so on. Then here the typical door handles. Yeah, some like them, some don't. With long fingernails, maybe not the best thing. So yeah, then inside of the doors, everything is wrapped here. Looks indeed premium. Feels also nice. This in here, the bright interior. Here is a little bit softer for your elbow. Then you have new ambient lighting. We can already see integration here. And 16 speakers plus one subwoofer. We can already see one here. And there are more speakers throughout the car. So I'm going to show that. Here also fabric at the inside of the doors. Yeah, we rarely see that with even more expensive cars nowadays. Model Y entry badge. So they basically tick all the boxes. The seats here with electric control directly on the seats. I really like to have that because it's just easy to do. Then completely new seats. We have known them from the Model X, from the Model S, and then they have been introduced to the Model 3, and now also with this change here to the Model Y. They are the biggest upgrade. You see they have a perforation. They have also ventilation in the front, heating for everyone. And the steering wheel, this is also known from Model 3, has been carried over here. Here, for example, the wipers on the right side for the voice input. Here there's also a separate button to trigger the camera. That's also quite good. But yeah, really reduced everything. No right stall column for the shifting levers. But in contrast to the Model 3, yeah, you still have the column here for the indicators, and that's really cool thing to have, because especially when you are, for example, like Germany, even more crucial in France, for example, where they have a lot of roundabouts, and hitting the turning indicator in a roundabout when it's on the steering wheel, like with the Model 3 now, is not that cool. So that's easier done, for example, when you still have this classic indicator stalk here. So I would also prefer that. Your personal driving seating setting and so on can also be saved in the vehicle in your user account, so you don't have to like repeat that all the time again. And yeah, these new seats here is night and day indeed. So before I would have said, hey, go for the Model 3 because of the new seats in comparison to the Model Y. But now, I mean, yeah, it's really obvious. So much more comfort even for tall people because they are wider, longer and so on. Then also with the perforation, you also have like a passive cooling already with the active ventilation. Of course, then you have the active cooling. So yeah, you're ready for everything. And remember, the whole interior is animal free. So there's a very good consistent approach, and that's standard. And they only have that. And no one is actually complaining about that. It works very well. They're super comfortable. You can wipe them clean and you have active ventilation. Yeah, what else can you wish for actually? Then here, headroom with 189, 6'2", still plenty of headroom left. This is again here the fixed panoramic roof. Yes, we know that in, for example, very hot states like in Texas and so on, people wrap their Teslas from the outside because no matter what you say, even if it's like heat reflecting, it will always get warmer in comparison to the fixed roof. Then again, that they promise now it's more heat reflecting. We'll see if this maybe solves the problem. Interesting here, by the way, also already that you have this curved, integrated sun blind and yeah.
And Leah makeup.
Leah makeup proof, definitely as well. So this is from my seating position, but there's even more to discover. So let's say, come over. Welcome to this new interior, even cleaner and sleeker than before. Really nice here with the bright fabric on the top part and then this ambient lighting that goes all the way around like a river hoop. And the glove box, you still open that here in the infotainment system, is here pretty shallow. Yeah, and then you close it here with the magnet. You can feel that. I think the seats in Bright look really nice, right? Don't they? Integrated head restraint. Of course, you can still get the black version as usual. In the front, we already know that. This is like the microfiber 2 inductive charging pads. Middle console, it's like these and these open. They are also adaptive here, these couples, and a lot of space here. Yeah, you can hide whole thing. There's a 12-volt charger in there as well. And here underneath, even more space. So for all the clutter and so on. And I mean, this cannot be adjusted here. It's just like, yeah. But the overall build quality, everything feels and looks pretty nice. Of course, very rightful criticism is still no head-up display and no digital instruments. And some say, hey, I don't care. I see the speed here. It's fine. But I think you should at least offer one thing of that. If you say, hey, I don't go for instruments, but not offer a head-up display, I'm fine with that, you know. But I think it should be at least one, instruments or head-up display. Or what do you think about that? Yeah, the gear change, indeed, once again now here on the left side, like with the updated Model 3 that you just like, you know, like for drive or reverse, when you hold the brake, you know, like here at the moment, showroom mode is enabled. So you slide here on the right side. There are also these emergency buttons on the top here. So if the touchscreen would fail, you can also select the gears on the top here. And here you can also activate the hazard lights, for example, on top, because this is like mandatory that you need to have that. We can look at the camera here already, because there you can see this in the front camera, the new one we can see. And here to the side, we can see the other models. What's also interesting is that when I use the turning indicators, I have here this blind spot view here that also appears in right or left. Here on the right side, in this case, the door is open. That's why it's looking a little bit strange. But yeah, it's a good feeling here, you know, that you can still use the real turning indicators here. So I think that's maybe a mix we can definitely live with. And you also have the controls here on the steering wheel here, like a real jog to turn the volume knob, for example. So that's also good. Yeah, I mean, it is very clean, but it has a premium touch. The only thing I would really say with the head-up display or the instruments, I would have wished for one thing, but that has been a thing with Tesla for quite a while now. Different in the Model S and the Model X, but here Model 3 and Model Y definitely went for this all like really reduction of things. But then again, it makes a very cool impression also here when you see when the door is closed, that this ambient lighting goes all the way through here inside to the doors. Yeah, so, and when you look at everything is processed and so on, yeah, makes a very good impression. But there's more news to come even in the rear, and also the trunk is very interesting. Gotta say though, here with the gear switching, I don't think it's that cool on the screen. Leah likes it, but when we had the Model 3 and we're driving it, we activate this automatic gear switching, because that's actually quite handy thing to do. You just buckle up and start the vehicle, and then when there's, for example, a wall in front of you, wherever you're parked, automatic puts in reverse gear. Just like switching between reverse and front and back again. This you have to do in a screen then, but the first gear selection when you start, in most cases this works, that the car picks automatically the right gear, like front or reverse, at least one time less you have to select it in the screen for that then. Driver POV, first of all, what's interesting here, the electric door opener like this. The manual failsafe opener would be here. You can pull that like this, so that would be possible. On the steering wheel, what's interesting, left side here for volume or for muting or playing pause. And when you press and hold it, then you get this additional menu here. Press left, and then you can select, for example, also temperature. And then with my left thumb, I can control the temperature. So that would be a good alternative then to going everything in the screen, because otherwise I have to do it like this. So it's good to have it on the steering wheel, even though it requires like some steps, some stages. The cool thing about the infotainment system is it is always super quick, and it's quicker than with all of the other legacy manufacturers. That's the thing. You set your stuff once, because doing stuff while driving is kind of complicated. But yeah, the quickness is really impressive. And here you can see cooling and heating for the front, and heating then for the rear is possible. And here, once again, this camera view. And you can also trigger that from the steering wheel. That's also possible. And Leah today checks for you here the sunlight. First of all, also illuminated on the passenger side. That's nice. And you can also, on both sides actually, make it a little bit longer to the sides. So that's actually good depending on where the sun is coming from. Oh, by the way, but there are no handles from the inside. So if I'm driving a little bit quicker again, then she cannot hold on tight. Rear seating, first of all here. Rear door also covered nicely. Ambient lighting integration here is actually, once again, more nice fabric. Another speaker right here. Then fabric also covering from the inside of the door in the rear. Once again, the bright setup, that can also be the black one. Isofix on the outside parts each. Also here, good seating depth, nice quality. This one here, on the top parts, yeah, hard to go in there. Here, maybe to the side to fold this one down. Really large armrest for both sides. And then the cup holders are also adaptive indeed. As for the headroom, here, still have a lot of headroom left with 1A9, 602 jacket or coat hangers here also with some clicking sound. And I can also electronically adjust the rear seats now. Here, you can make it steeper or more falling backward, like this, and the control is down here. There it is. So here then backward and forward. And this will also soon play a role in the trunk. This will be very interesting, I can tell you so far. As for the legroom, here's the seat as I would be driving. I still have legroom left, so it's easily fitting 5 tall adults, because here in the middle part you can also sit. It's comfortable enough. Yeah, a little bit harder from the surface and also from the back area, but that works definitely. And yeah, using the electric platform, there's no middle tunnel or whatsoever, flat bottom. And there will also be 7-seater versions available, where you have 2 additional seats then in the back. In China, they are also selling a version with 6-seater. Not sure if that will be coming to our markets at some point. We have to see about that. 2 USB-C chargers here in the rear now, 65 watt each. That's pretty cool. And a new screen. You can also watch YouTube, your favorite Autogefühl episodes, of course. Then here in the rear of the Tesla, there is the discussion about this one. What about looking down? Are you getting sick then? You can argue about that definitely. I can also adjust the volume here. And there's also the separate climate unit here for the rear. So you can also adjust that then with the touchscreen. That's also known from Model 3 and also the gaming area here. I'm gonna say though about the rear screen here, I mean, Tesla is arguing, okay, for like coast cutting and stuff and reduction and simplicity, we don't do instruments in the front or head-up display, which would be super necessary, and thousands of Tesla customers want that. But then we do a screen in the rear. And that's okay. I don't get that logic. Probably, again, this Chinese customer focus, because in China it's very important to have all these entertainment, infotainment features in the vehicle, also for the rear passengers. Wait a minute, the Onvo last time did have a head-up display, right? So, yeah, interesting. So there are this and these solutions. So we have actually seen, I think, more Chinese vehicles than Teslas having at least one thing, like head-up display or instruments. Let's see how that one is evolving. And here's something interesting. So this electronic adjustment here of the back seat, if you press slightly, you go back and forth for your personal back setting there. But if you press a little bit firmer, then you induce this fully flat folding. And also look here at the front seat, how it's going forward and backward again. So now, firmly pressed, this one goes forward. It's interesting, like how you say, like it's a little bit going like almost in circles or something like that. So here then folding flat, and now when I go put it back again, also look how this one goes forward and backward again. Forward, goes up, goes backward again, and the same also goes then here for the other half. Checking that out from the trunk. Now to the trunk or the boot. First of all, here the opening is underneath here, underneath the rear camera, or of course from the inside of the car or via the app and so on. Then let's check it out. Here we go. So there's an updated cover here of the boot or the trunk. And the best way to open it is this first part. Lay it over. There you can see the cabin trolley in the vertical way does exactly fit. And then you move this one further like that. So then it's good. Of course, you could also do it in another way, maybe like this or something like that, but that's not practical with the side. So best solution is like this and then like that. At least I found that way. Here you can see fits underneath. Then here the measurements. Yeah, this part is a little bit less than 1 meter or 40 inches, the upper part, but then there are the wheel arches, and the width is 1 meter and 10 or 43 inches, and the total height here is like this here, about 70 centimeters or almost 28 inches. And big update is here now. Actually, I can better show that when you remove that completely. There we go. This is the electric folding of the rear seats. There we go. One press, another press. Yeah, that's pretty cool, right? So remotely unlocking. And there again, you can see that the front seats both go front and back again. And yeah, let me just measure that here before I put it back again. There we go, here. And this is almost a full 2 meters or 79 inches here from this ruler. Pretty cool. And now look at the front seats. Also, it's really hard to see from here. Press one more time to put them back. They go a little bit to the front. Then the rear seats go up. And then the front seats go back again. Here you can also see this one here can be folded manually down as a ski hatch. That's also possible. So really good improvements here. And underneath, once again, a lot of more space. There we go. You can also put a charging cable there. But I mean, even a suitcase full, I can show that to you. Yeah, that's always a cool thing. You can put a full suitcase here underneath like this. And then, of course, there's even more space available here. And that's why it's overall at almost 2,140 liters if you fold everything and count the lower part here also with that. So what else do we know? The big battery, 250 kilowatt charging peak. At some point we can also do a supercharger test then for you. Big battery NMC, small battery. It's not confirmed yet at the time of the shooting, but we expect once again the small battery then with the LFP chemistry. And we can also keep you updated with the charging times then at the later stage. As for the range, yes, it has been increased. And we know that even in like Autobahn driving, higher speeds, it is one of the most efficient EVs out there. Always depends then on the temperature and so on. But even if you say like not ideal temperature and even some higher speed Autobahn, you can still go like 500 kilometers or 300 miles with this one. And in summertime and more city use, it will even go further. So that's the thing here. I mean, they have improved a lot of different small details. At the same time, it is still one of the most efficient ones out there. If it's now even 5% more efficient, this will of course be even more beneficial than for the customer. The car as it stands here right now for a German price will be around 60,000 euros. This one here already has like the towing hook in it and some like the acceleration feature and so on. And it's also the one with the big battery and all-wheel drive. The entry price will probably be, once again, with a small battery at a later stage, like 45,000 euros. So overall, we can say that with the update, the prices will not change much. And that's also a rare thing. Usually the prices go up with the facelift or if they put more features in it. But here definitely, like we've seen with Model 3, more features basically at the same price. And then there's, of course, the big discussion about the company leader, Elon Musk. And meanwhile, you cannot really ignore it. And no matter where your political stance is, what's clearly true, I think we can all agree on that. Elon Musk is a genius and visionary on the one hand. On the other hand, he's also one of the biggest trolls out there. And he has done a lot of doubtful things. And the big problem is that the stuff he does and says is against his core target group. And there's a reason for that there are a lot of stickers now on the Teslas, like I bought this before Elon went crazy. And yeah, that's exactly the reason, because the people buying Teslas are the ones, hey, I want to do something against climate change, I want to have a clean vehicle, I want to be like looking to the future and so on. And when he's politically moving in the other direction again, he's opposing like against his own core target group. That's the main problem as a company leader. And we also can agree on that if any other CEO of any other company would have, done like a Nazi greeting publicly, he would be removed and there would be a new CEO. Well, since he is the company owner as well, he stays himself, of course. So I can understand both arguments. If someone says, okay, it's a great car and there are a lot of great people in the company, and I don't want to punish the other people in the company because of the CEO, so I still keep buying the vehicles. You can understand this argument, but you can also understand the argument if people say like, hey, I'm so against this CEO that I cannot really justify myself again to buy this brand. So both, is reasonable to argue. What about you? Let's join the discussion. Let's join the comments about the product itself, and of course also free to comment on the Elon Musk issue, and join us now for more Tesla reviews.